so the chat function is open for any comments or questions you may have throughout the session. I'll be monitoring the chat and we'll address questions during the question and answer session. So thank you for your attention to these details. We'll now transition to the presentation. I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker for this session. I'll just read his bio and then he'll take over. We have Mr. Obafemi Aromokeye. Please pardon me if I'm not pronouncing the name very well. I'm not Yoruba, as you can tell. I'm trying, but it's Mr. Femi Aromokeye. If you're in the NIROW group, we actually dropped an information about, our speaker. We sent his bio to the group. And Mr. Femi has acquired his BSc in sociology from the University of Ibadan in 1987. After this, he delved into medical sociology with a special interest in lifestyle and herbal production. He has been studying, working, and treating patients with various ailments using natural remedies with a high success rate. Some of the ailments he specializes in treating are as follows. He specializes in diabetes, high blood pressure. Now, all this is with recorded success, like with real life testimonies, right? Cancer, prostate cancer, hepatitis, jaundice, fibroid, obesity, ulcer, asthma, pile, malaria, typhoid, low sperm count, massage, and all of that. So Mr. Femi is not new to giving lectures on how to improve lifestyle using natural remedies. He gives lectures regularly to religious bodies, to professional associations, to government parastatals, and he can be reached on I have his phone number and I will be sharing it with us in the chat box as we go on or just before we conclude. So this evening, Mr. Femi will be speaking to us with highlighting the importance of herbal medicine vis-a-vis orthodox medicine. And he'll be giving us herbal solutions to diabetes, to hypertension, to cancer, to obesity, and to high cholesterol. So with no further ado, I'm honored to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Femi. You now have the floor, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to this special program. And I believe by the grace of God, we are going to enjoy the program together. The program is meant for our awareness. And God has created us to enjoy this world, to enjoy it to maximum. It all depends on how we are able to manage ourselves. But if we're able to manage ourselves very well, we'll be able to enjoy the life very well. So by the grace of God, for the next 1.5 hours, we have spent about 10 minutes out of the time. We'll be talking on natural remedies and herbal medicine. Now, we want to go into the program by the grace of God. I have some few questions to ask us so that we can address the questions while going on through the program. The questions are, why do we need to be in good health? Why do we need to be in good health? Why do we promote primary health program above curative or secondary health program? And at the same time, the third question, what role do our intake, food we take, in maintaining our health? What role does it take? And at the same time, I'll be asking you, what is the place of natural remedies in maintaining good health? And finally, why do we have various plants, trees, fruits, and vegetables? Why do we have all this? I want to highlight some of these things in the course of our program. And I want you to follow, by the grace of God, after the end of the program, after my speaking, then I will want you to ask some of the questions that you want to ask so that we can enjoy the program all together. Now, it goes thus. By the grace of God, we need to take care of our body because even the word of God says, do you not know that your body is the temple of Holy Spirit within you? You are not on your own. You are bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. It is when we are in good health that we can glorify God. It is when we are in good health that we can maintain our family. It is when we are in good health that we can even enjoy life in totality. And it is when we are in good health that we're able to do that the work God has given us as the assignment to be able to go and do the work God has given unto us. So it's very, very good to be able to take care of ourselves. I also want to reiterate that I want to say some of these things so that we can understand why we need to be in good health. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. It is when you prevent. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. When you prevent this illness before they come, then you will see that you enjoy life in totality. Primary health care provide that atmosphere to enjoy ourselves. And the primary health care is more popular in the natural remedies and the herbal medicine. Importance of nutrition in maintaining good health. Nutrition is indeed very, very important. We are what we eat, and our food should be our medicine. Dr. Clemency Michel said, how long we live and how healthy we are both depend on what we eat. How long we eat, how healthy we eat, and then how long we live depend on our what we eat. Then Dr. Roger Miller said, he contended that the body heals itself. It's not compulsory that we take medicine, orthodox medicine or anything medicine before the body heals itself, but the body can only heal itself when it is in good state, when we take what we need to take, when we take good food to be able to heal itself. So most time that we take, we have boxes of medicine. It's not all that necessary. But when we maintain good health, we eat natural food, then whenever thing that is going to come, the immune system will be able to fight against it, that be able to body is able to heal itself. Then I know some of us, we know some of the things we need to take, like food. Then like healthy living involves, number one, we need to take plenty vegetables, salad, and fruits. That's number one. Number two, a serving of oatmeal, cereal, bread, potato, and brown rice. All these are good for us. Number three, we need to take milk, yogurt, and cheese. All these are good for us. Then number four, we need to take moderate meat, poultry foods, fish, egg, and oil. And finally, apart of in terms of our the food we need to take small amount of fatty food, sugar, and salt. We don't need to take those ones in large quantity. We need to take them in small quantity. They are indeed very, very good for us. Then we want to talk of malnutrition before we go to the program properly. We want to go to malnutrition. Malnutrition is not only developing for developing country alone. Malnutrition is in the whole world. Dr. Clement Michel said, the body load the gun, but the gene load the gun, and lifestyle pulls the trigger. The body load the guns, and the lifestyle pull the trigger. Let me explain that. Most of the time, whatever we eat, it slows the gun. A parent that is acquainted with high blood pressure and then is not taking good care of self, maybe the type of food the parent takes, for instance, take too much of salt, sodium chloride, you take too much of it, and then you are not doing a regular exercise, then you are obese. And so those are the guns that the genes loaded. But when you now take all those things, then it now trigger, your lifestyle will now trigger it. You are you take alcohol, you take tobacco, then the genes is already there that you are going to have this problem. When you have this problem, the genes has loaded the gun, and you are now taking those things, then it now triggered the problem. So Dr. Clemency Michel said, genes load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. So when you pull the trigger and then the gun is loaded, then you are bound to have the problem. But if in your gene there is a certain problem, like having diabetes, and you refrain maybe because your parents, they have it, the genes have already loaded it, but you don't want to, you want your lifestyle to be different from your parents' lifestyle, then lifestyle does not, the trigger is not on. So that's what Dr. Michel tried to explain to us. Then Dr. Michel, he went on further to say that whatever we say, whatever we eat, how we take care of ourselves is the type of our lifestyle, and this will affect our bodies so much. Most health challenges are as a result of inability to eat balanced diet. Unhealthy lifestyle is the cause of many of our health challenges. Take, for example, taking soda intake, chemical, drugs, alcohol, all these things are part of our health challenges, unhealthy lifestyle. Apart from that, unhealthy lifestyle depresses the immune system. When your lifestyle is unhealthy, and then when you take unhealthy food, when you do not have enough rest that you needed to have, when you over-engage yourself in taking alcohol, all these things now will result back to your immune system. The immune system will now go weak, and then we will now have some of these problems. And I pray that we do not continue with this type of life. Then we are now going proper a little bit to what is herbal medicine. We are talking about the place of herbal medicine. The place of herbal medicine in the place of natural remedies in maintaining good health. One, herbal medicine is the use of plants to treat various ailments. The use of plants to treat various ailments. Secondly, herbalism is a traditional medicine practice based on plants and extract. It is also known as a botanical medicine, herbology, and phytotherapy. These are herbal medicine. And at the same time, we go further to say that, we go further to say that herbal medicine, like we talk of phototherapy, this medicine uses plant-based material for the treatment of specific symptoms or diseases. So that is what herbal medicine is. Then there are some advantages that we can attune to herbal medicine. World Health Organization confirms that 80% of the world population uses herbal medicine. 80% of world population uses herbal medicine. Herbal medicine is not limited to developing country alone. Even most developed country of the world, they practice herbal medicine. And there are some advantages that is attuned to herbal medicine. One, they have fewer side effects. When you take herbal medicine, it has very little side effect. Unlike when you take some orthodox medicine, that immediately after taking the orthodox medicine, you be able to see the side effects. It may be nausea, it may be headache, it may be pain, it may be oversleeping, so many. But herbal medicine doesn't go like that. Then herbal medicine is more affordable. You can agree with me that herbal medicine is affordable. Herbal medicine is indeed very, very effective. Don't forget that we are what we eat. What we eat is what we are. So when you take good herbal medicine, it is very, very effective. Then herbal medicine is also is empowering. In terms of empowerment, it is meant for that. Then finally, herbal medicine also boosts immune system. So these are some of the characteristics of herbal medicine. Then there are some herbal-related problems. We want to talk about herbal health-related problems. Health-related problems. There are so many problems that we face in this world based on our lifestyle, like we have mentioned. Based on our lifestyle, these problems are indeed very, very numerous. And that when your immune system is disrupted, you have not taken what is good for your health. You have not taken what is good. You have not taken enough things that are good for your body, enough food. Maybe you are malnourished. Maybe you are obese. Maybe you take those things that are not necessary for you to take. Then these are some of the effects that you now feel. Obesity. Obesity is part of it. We'll talk about it. Hypertension is part of it. We'll talk about it. Diabetes is part of it. We'll talk about it. And cancer is part of it that we will talk about it. So let us go one by one. I want to emphasize on obesity. You will all agree with me that obesity is a major problem that we have in our society today. The World Health Organization confirms that you are considered obese when you are 20 kg above what you are supposed to weigh. When you are 20 kg above when you take your body mass index and you are 20 kg above what you should weigh, then you are considered obese. So at times we see some people, they are so fat, and then they are so fat and to the extent that they cannot carry themselves. This may not be very, very good for us. You see some people, they are lean, and then you see they are sizable. They can be able to lift themselves. So based on all this, when you are obese, it causes a lot of problem. When you are obese, there is possibility for you to be hypertensive. When treating hypertension, you are likely to be obese. Then when you are obese, there is the possibility for you to have diabetes. It's attuned to being obese. And even when you are obese, there is this high probability that you have cancer. When you are obese, there is a probability that you have eye arthritis. Arthritis may be your problem. And rheumatism is not far from those ones that are obese. So that's why we are telling you that when you take natural remedies and when you take very nourishing food and you are not taking too much of alcohol, neither do you take too much of tobacco, or whether you take too much of sodium chloride, all this will help you to maintain your good health. And at the same time, we are talking about obesity. There is a way of solving problem of obesity, but we'll come to that later when we are treating the solution to some of these problems. But we are just telling you that obesity is a major problem in our society, that unless we solve those problems, we cannot be in good health. Let us consider another topic, which is hypertension. Which is hypertension? You are considered hypertensive when your blood pressure is higher than the normal. For example, in adults, when you are growing old, 130 over 85, that is when you take your BP measure. 130 over 85, that is the normal thing. And at times, it can be maximum when you are going hypertensive is going beyond 130 over 85, or you are going at 135 or anything above 140 over 90, it is considered to be very, very high. So, but for 130 over 85, then if it does not go beyond that, then your BP is considered to be all right. I want to make some emphasis here now. I want you to follow me in this emphasis, in that there are some characteristics of you having high blood pressure when your cardiovascular and cerebrovascular system is not in good order. What do I mean by that? When you go to hospital and they test your BP, they tell you it is 140 over 80, or when they say it is 120 over 80, which is very, 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 very good. But anything beyond that, they say it is bad. Now, your cardiovascular system and your cerebrovascular system is very, very important that you consider it. One, there are some things that are not disclosed to you when you go for your BP check, the cardiovascular and the cerebrovascular. One, there is something we call blood viscosity. When your blood viscosity or the thickness of your blood is high, it goes beyond what it should measure. Then you consider to have high blood viscosity. Then there's something we also call blood sugar. When your blood sugar content is also high, there is a probability for you to have high blood pressure. Then the cholesterol, when the cholesterol too is high, then another thing is vascular elasticity, that's your heart pumping. When your heart pumping, there is a range to which it must pump. And when it goes less beyond the range, then there is the high probability for you to have a heart attack. And at the same time, there is what we call vascular resistance. That is the heart pumping. When your heart pumping is not pumping enough, then there is the major problem. So all these must be very, very all right, so that you will not have high blood pressure. That is the cardio system. The blood viscosity must be all right. And how do we check that? How do we control all those, both blood viscosity, the blood sugar, the cholesterol, the vascular elasticity, and then the vascular resistance? So we say there is a way we can control it when we have enough exercise. Let me give you, for instance, somebody who has been sitting down for the past maybe 3, 4, 5 hours in a very cold environment, where the AC system is working, everywhere is cool, you have not been doing anything for the past 4 hours. Imagine somebody come to you and give you a little an incision, maybe a blade cut, you see that the place will be white. But consider somebody who have just moved like 1 kilometer, trek 1 kilometer in a sunny environment. You will see that by the time they want to have that incision on that person, blood will pump out. Meaning that it is not good for us to just not doing enough exercise. When we do enough exercise, our heart pumping will be all right. We'll burn the cholesterol, we'll burn the sugar level, we'll burn the sugar content, and then our heart pumping will be very, very all right. The vascular resistance will also be working well, because when the blood that is pumping, it goes beyond a certain level, the vascular resistance, then we say that your blood, there is the likelihood for you to have high blood pressure. That is then there is something called that is the cardiovascular. Then the cerebrovascular. When the bulb that is needed, the blood that is needed to pump in the blood is not adequate, then there is a high probability for you to have headache. There is a high probability for you to have low memory. There is a probability for when the cardiovascular and the cerebrovascular, they are not working well, then they are not, it is not adequate. That is when you have high blood pressure. Don't forget, when you have high blood pressure and you have diabetes, there is a likelihood for you, and then you are obese. There is a high probability for you to have stroke, which I pray none of us will have. It's not a good experience. So it's better for us to do a lot of exercise, to do a lot of shaking, so that we'll not be having high blood pressure. Then there are some reducing high blood pressure. There are some measures that you will take so that we will not be hypertensive. One, I want us to notice that we don't take or don't use tobacco and nicotine products. The taking of tobacco and nicotine is not good for our system. Number two, if obese, lose weight. That is, when you are obese, when your measurement, your mass, your body mass index is not adequate, is 20, you are 20 kg above what you should measure, try as much as possible to lose weight. And then, how then do we even lose weight naturally? Take, for instance, you avoid taking your dinner late. If you are obese, there is a way to control it. Avoid taking your dinner late. If you are obese, you can decide to take only vegetable and fruit at night for your dinner. It will help you a lot. If obese, you take vegetable, you take fruits, and you take a lot of water at night. At night, in the afternoon, and all those will help you so much. Then another thing that will help you so that to reduce your high blood pressure, to reduce obesity, is to have a regular exercise. Take regular exercise. Participate in regular exercise. Another thing that help us to control our blood pressure is to limit the amount of sodium and chloride. That is salt that we are taking in our food. You will agree with me that there are some people that when they are taking their meal, they take too much of salt. This will not be good for our system. And at the same time, some people, even when taking food and they see that the salt is not enough, they go there to go and introduce another salt to their food, which is not good for, especially those that are seen to have high blood pressure. And especially when we are growing old, let us reduce the amount of sodium chloride we are taking in our food. Then another factor is to limit the amount of alcohol we are taking. Alcohol may not be very good for us. And at the same time, if you want to take alcohol, we have to be moderate. We have to be moderate in taking alcohol. Alcohol may not be very good for our health. Another important point to reduce our high blood pressure is to eat more vegetable, fruits, and nuts. Don't forget that whatever we eat, it helps to maintain our body system. And to be able to boost our immune system, we must take those things that are good for our system so that the body will be able to heal itself. Then another factor is to eat less fat. If possible, avoid fatty food. But if we must take fatty food, it must be very, very small, very, very small quantity. It's not something that will be taken regularly. Unlike vegetable that we can take, we cannot take a lot of vegetable and fruits. But for fat, we have to reduce our fat intake. We have to even reduce our red meat intake. All these things may not be very, very good for us. And one of the things that is very, very good for us is to have enough exercise. Have enough exercise. All these things are very, very good for us. So under diabetes, under high blood pressure, I want to emphasize this, that for us not to have stroke by the grace of God, which is something that we are trying to prevent, is to maintain to maintain your blood pressure to be very, very good. So check it regularly, take natural food, so that when you are checking you check your BP regularly and you take some of these advices, by the days ago, high blood pressure will be very, very far away from you. So, because having high blood pressure is a factor that is not good for us. Another thing I want us to talk about now is on diabetes. Diabetes. We have two types of diabetes. Two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2 diabetes, which I want to emphasize now. Before we now go to some other things. Diabetes is this. Type 1 diabetes is an acute and serious illness, particularly in children and young adults. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas fails to produce insulin, and the sufferer regularly needs insulin. The sufferer needs insulin from time to time. That is what we call insulin-dependent mellitus. Insulin-dependent mellitus. While type 2 diabetes is non-insulin dependent diabetes. Then, what is the cause of this diabetes? I told you that what we eat matters so much. When you eat too much, when you take too much of alcohol, it points us to diabetes. When you take too much of salt, it's not good for our systems. And I want to emphasize that some of the food sources we take, some of these things are a major problem in our system that causes a lot of problem. I want to emphasize that I'm sorry to say, I have to mention some of the cubes we use in the production of our food. Some of these things are very, very injurious to our systems. I had situations where I treated some people for diabetes, and I told them to stop the use of cube, particularly back home in Nigeria. By the time they stop the taking of these cubes in their food, half of the problem is solved. When you are diabetics, stop taking cubes.
What do you mean by cubes? Sorry, is it sugar, like sugar cubes?
Oh, your seasoning cubes.
Oh, okay. Maggi.
Yes, seasoning cubes.
Okay.
Yes, it's part of the thing that I do emphasize that all these things are very, very killing. You know, all those seasoning that we think that will make our food to be this thing. There are some seasoning that are very good for us. When you use ginger, it's very good for us. When you use ginger, when you use garlic, it's good for us. And when you use locust beans is very, very good for us. Even though I produce locust beans, and even by the grace of God, is NAFDAC back home in Nigeria. NAFDAC approved my locust beans. When you use locust beans to cook your food, it's very, very good for those who have high blood pressure and have diabetes. One, it helps you, to control using locust beans to cook your food, to produce your food. One, you enjoy the aroma. Two, the later the food becomes, the sweeter it attains. Then three, it's good for our sight. And then those who have high blood pressure, like I said, they enjoy it so much. It's so good that it's good for the system. So, but those cubes, those seasoning cubes that we use back home, and even the diaspora here, they are not good for us, especially those who are having diabetes. So, whenever I speak of on diabetes, I used to tell my clients, my listener, to stop it, particularly when your genes, when your predecessors, they have diabetes, and then you are taking these cubes to cook your food. Then you are saying death come, death come. So, but when you abstain from it, half of the problem is solved. So it's not good to take some of these cubes in cooking, preparing our food. So cubes, they may not be very, very good for us. And so in the course of time, when you have questions, when you want to ask questions, I will expect you to have questions concerning this pills that we are taking, which may not be very, very good for our systems. That is in respect of diabetes. And at the same time, let's go quickly to cancer. Yes, prevention, they say, is better than cure. But what do we even mean by cancer? The term cancer covers a large group of disease where the immune systems has failed and allows certain kind of damaged cells to grow out of control. When you hear cancer, automatically you shiver. Nobody want to have serious disease. Is known as terminal disease. And by the grace of God, for quite some time, we do not even know what cancer is. But thereafter, it was emphasized that there are some conditions that allow cancer to come into our system, things to avoid so that we will not have cancer. There are some things that we need to avoid so that we will not have cancer. And there are some things that help us, that when we take them, it helps us to have cancer. So I want to emphasize some of these things on cancer so that we will not have this major problem. One, some of the things to avoid. Avoid most of the refined food that we take most of the time. Refined food are some of the causes of cancer. Let me give you, for instance, people in the Asian countries, most of them, they are known not to have cancer. But when most of them move to the Western world, some of them now they experience a new life because of the lifestyle that is taking place in the Western side of the world. But for people from the Asian world, cancer is not something that is common to them. But because many of them move to the Western world, they take refined food and they take some of the food that the Western world people are taking. Some of them are known to be having cancer, and which is not very common back home. Then we have to reduce the taking of animal. That's why you see some people, they are vegetarians. The rate of cancer in vegetarian is very, 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 very low. Very, very low. Taking of tobacco too is one of the causes of cancer. Tobacco, those who are taking tobacco, they are subject to cancer. And most of them that are taking tobacco, the major causes of their death is cancer, because cancer can easily penetrate them. Then stress. When you are stressed, your immune system is broken down. When you take tobacco, your immune system is affected. When you take especially too much of animals, your immune system is depressed too. And some of the animals that we are taking, you see, some of them is being loaded with chemicals, with concentrates. And when these concentrates are too many, then it will affect the immune system. Likewise, taking alcohol, the same factor, the same cancer problem. When you take too much of alcohol, there is this probability that you have cancer too. Then when you take all this and you are not doing enough exercise to burn all those nonsense, to burn them, lack of exercise is one of the contributing factors for cancer. Radiation too, most of the time with the technology that is all around us, that allow radiation to be too much around us, all these things are cancer cause problem. Then food addiction, those things that we add to our food, like the food, those addictive that I mentioned the other time, what we use to source our food, all these things are very, very, they are not very good for us. Then taking toxic chemical, e.g. perfumes, toxic chemical, e.g. perfumes. Let me give you an instance. There was a scenario where somebody was driving a very long journey. He had a perfume in his boot, and it was a sunny day. All of a sudden, he had a big bump in the boot, and he had to stop. Then what happened? He saw the perfume that busted because of the high temperature. And then because the person had to travel a very long journey, that thing was still hitting the car. Let me tell you, for 2-3 days, the person was having serious headache, a headache that has never been common to him before, because this thing had affected his system. I'm just using perfume as an example. So when you are tuned, or when you work where, when your company where you work is toxic, or maybe you produce chemical, these are high risk factor for you to have cancer. So which must work as much as possible to be able to control. Then there are some warning signs of cancer. There are some warning signs of cancer. There are some warning signs. So, and then, like I said, prevention, they say, is better than cure. When you know, I want you to list this down. When you have problem, maybe you have wound, and you have slow healing of sore, that is one factor. Can be skin cancer. When you have slow healing of sore. Number two, unexplained lump in any part of the body. These are signs of cancer. Unexplained lump in any part of the body. Not only in breast cancer is common, which is also lumps. Breast cancer is common. Skin cancer is also common, and most of us do not pay attention to it. So unexplained lumps in the body. Then number three, change in bowel habits. In bowel habits, when there is a change and you know there is a problem in the bowel, it can be a sign of cancer in the body. Unusual discharge in the body, unusual discharge when you cannot even control it. These are signs of cancer. It can be from woman, or it can be from man. When you have unusual discharge, this is sign of cancer. Then another cancer warning signs is persistent bleeding or bruises. Persistent bleeding, when you are bleeding regularly and you cannot explain it, or bruises. These are signs for cancer. Then another sign for cancer is when you have trouble swallowing. When you want to swallow, you have problem in swallowing. These are warning signs of cancer that may not be very, very good. All this, when we take all this into cognizance, then we'll be able to see that we'll be able to control whatever problem that prevention, like I said, is better than cure. So then there are some general, I've mentioned some of the general preventive measures that we can take when it comes to cancer. And then coming back to prevention of cancer, how to prevent it. One, we've got to eat more fruit and vegetables. More fruit and vegetables, controlling cancer. Let me give some instances here. If somebody is having cancer and you take vegetables and fruits, it helps a lot. Let me give an example. When you have cancer and you take pineapple juice, you take it hot, first thing in the morning, and you take it in the afternoon, you take it in the evening. That is a pineapple juice. You take it regularly. It's an anti-cancer. When you take a lime, this lime that we are taking, you take it hot regularly. It's an anti-cancer. Then when you want to control your eating, when you are cancerous, avoid red meat and avoid meat totally to prevent it. And at the same time, when you are cancerous, you have cancer in your body, avoid fried foods. Avoid fried foods. Avoid fried foods. And then let me emphasize on the fruits. When you are cancerous, you can only go on fruit fast. You take fruits alone. Then you are depriving the diseases or the bacteria in the body cell that is causing the cancer. You are depriving it from the sugar, because the sugar from the fruit is natural one, which is not conducive for the cancer patient. And we take a lot of vegetable, which is very, very good. That's number one. Number two, you've got to less your refined foods and animals and fats. cancer, majorly, particularly breast cancer, what is there is fats. And when you stay away from refined foods, fried foods, then you are saying the bacteria there, you are sentencing it to death. So refined food is not good for, and then animal fat is not good for cancer patients. Then another thing that I want to introduce to preventing cancer or somebody that is already there is regular exercise. You burn a lot of unnecessary things when you exercise regularly. It's very, very, very good for us. Very, very good for us. Then in this wise, I want to introduce to you in terms of exercise, some of the exercise that we can even do at home that is not only preventing cancer, it's not only preventing high blood pressure or diabetes or cholesterol. Before I mention the other type of preventive measure for cancer, is that when in this exercise, I want to introduce to you what is called granite exercise. Granite exercise. Granite is a stone, 3/4 stone. When you gather a bucket full of granite and you look for a very good place in your sitting room or in your bedroom, you can even pour it there. And you march on it 15, 20 minutes regularly every day. When you march on the barefooted without any slippers on you, without any shoe, you march regularly on the granite, 3/4 granite, then you do it regularly, it touches your bone, it touches your brain, it will open your brain for memory. Your brain will be alert. Then it touches your arthritis. You will not have that pain again. Your back pain is gone. Even when you march regularly on it, it touches your cancer problem. Your cancer is in trouble when you do this exercise. You march on it regularly. If possible, march on it 15 to 20 minutes in the morning and at night. And some people are also complaining of insomnia. You can't sleep very well. When you do a lot of exercise like this granite marching for 15, 20 minutes, you sleep like little baby. So exercise go a long way to control cancer so that you'll be able to shed those weight of problem in your body. Another thing to control, to prevent cancer is to, have enough sunlight in moderation. Have sunlight in moderation. Don't overstay in the sun, because there can be skin problem when you are too much in the sun. But when you take the early morning sun, you are gaining vitamin D in your body, which is very, very good for you. So sunlight is good in moderation. And at the same time, you need to rest. When you rest, you are boosting your immune system. When you rest, you are boosting your immune system. So when you boost your immune system, don't forget that when you eat, which your food supposed to be the medicine, and then your body will be able to heal itself when your immune system is improved. So don't forget that when you have enough rest, you have enough sleep, you'll be able to, your immune system is developed so that to be able to fight whatever diseases. I want to tell you that be it cancer, be it high blood pressure, be it diabetes, be it when you have enough rest, then your immune system is developed. When you have enough rest, the food you take into your body will be able to digest well. When you have rest, you are improving your immune system. Then another thing is to have good medical and herbal care. That's in terms of cancer. You have good medical and herbal care. Now, I want to emphasize to you, by the grace of God, that in terms of some of these problem back home in Nigeria, I have high success rate in treating high blood pressure, stroke, somebody that's having stroke. What do I mean? When you are having stroke, it is true that the hospital, they'll take care of you. But when you go natural, we have some things that we give, that those herbs medicine that we give you, then are not the way of our massaging is different from what is common in the hospitals. We have a way of our massaging, and by the grace of God, those things I produce, those illness I mentioned to you. Let me read them to you. High blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, rheumatism, arthritis, stroke, pain, cancer, tumor, prostate, ulcer, asthma, malaria, stroke, typhoid, low sperm count, liver diseases like hepatitis, jaundice, or we also produce all these things. My company produce those herbal that will help us. I produce herbal that will help us. I'm saying with all authorities that some of these things like when you are diabetics, for instance, and they give you some orthodox medicine. The orthodox medicine, I'm telling you some of the advantages of herbal medicine over orthodox medicine. And when you go for your check, you will see that your sugar level will be normal because you take orthodox medicine. By the measure, it's normal, but the problem persists. One, your sight is not likely to be all right. Two, the number of times you go to toilet at night will be higher. Instead of the normal once or twice, when you take orthodox medicine to treat diabetes, then you see that you are still urinating regularly. Then, as a man, you will see that when you are diabetic, for instance, and you take this orthodox medicine, as a man, you will have low erection. But by the grace of God, what we produce will bandage to treat diabetes. I'm just using as an example. We see that by the grace of God, you only urinate once or twice at night, your sight will improve. These are some of the signs of having diabetes. Then, as a man, you'll be able to have good erection to be able to satisfy your wife. And as it affects men, so it also affects women. So we are saying that there are some those things that we produce in the herbal realms. Most of them are very, very good for us. Even what we produce for high blood pressure, the natural remedies we produce, they are just natural foods that is good for our systems, that when we take, we never regret it. Even obesity. So these are some of the things that we produce back at home. We also manage aged people. Then we also massage. We take care of stroke patients, and we take care of prostate. And when you try all this that we do, by the grace of God, you will not regret trying us. We are capable to do all these things. The advantage it will have been for all of us, particularly back at home, even in some of these developed world, is to say that if the orthodox medicine could cooperate with the herbal people, then we'll have high success rate of treating most of the problem that we are having all around us. But back home, you see the way the orthodox practitioners, they condemn the herbal or the lifestyle people. That causes a lot of problem. From the analysis that was proved, and you can check on Google, you see that some of the questions they were saying that those who are using herbal medicine, that they are prone to have a kidney problem. This is not real. You see that even in most developed world, let me mention to be specific, go and Google it. You see that places like United States of America, Canada, Germany, UK, they have high kidney problem than even a place like developing country like we can say like Africa, like Nigeria, like Ghana, because some of those things we are taking, they are not the cause of the kidney problem that they say when you take herbal medicine, it's the causes of this thing. These are the way that the orthodox medicine uses to disclaim the herbal medicine. I want to invite you to say, God be with you as we listen, so that we have enough time for questions and for our contact. We'll be talking after this. When you want to summarize, then we can now give you our contact and our email. God bless you.
Much, sir, for your insightful session. What you said has been well received by the community. While you were speaking, some questions like you imagined, people putting some questions in the chat box. You kept going on and on about alcohol. and somebody asked, said, I thought they said alcohol, specifically red wine, is good for the heart. And the person wants you to shed more light on that.
Okay. Yes. How I wish those who are taking red wine take in moderation. Even when you take salt in moderation, even when you take coffee in moderation, or how often do we take things in moderation? That is the problem. Yes, they say red wine is good for our heart. Even coffee, they say is good for our heart. But don't forget that some of these things have its own it affects our the nervous system when it is taken too much.
So basically, we hardly ever take anything in moderation. So it's best to
That is
even
the problem.
avoid. It's best to avoid. Okay, and then you were talking about the seasoning cubes. And you were saying an alternative to seasoning cubes would be the locust beans
Yes.
that we know. And somebody is asking, locust beans doesn't work for all kinds of dishes. So as women, we know that people use locust beans for maybe local dishes. So when you are doing fried rice, for instance, you can't use locust beans. When you are frying egg, maybe with egg sauce, you can't use locust beans. You can use it for your efo, you can use it for your even a goosey soups. Our soups, yes. But when it comes to other things, the locust beans does not gel. So in that case, what other options can we, use or employ?
Okay. It's only that most times you want to do it in Western style. I mentioned garlic, I mentioned ginger. Then there are some other things that are not in cubes, neither in powder. Some of this powder, like let me give you for instance, in quotes like Ajinomoto. When we back home, some of the things that is existing in part of our world is not in existence in some of the developed world. And some of those things they push down to us there, they are not necessarily in developed world. But let me also tell you, it's not that I'm condemning this seasoning. Don't forget, I said our genes, loads the problem, but our lifestyle trigger it. So what we eat causes most of the problem that we have. How I wish we take cubes in moderation if we must take. And at the same time, but when you know that you are prone, in your system or in your line, your family line, you are prone to having certain problem. Why don't you avoid some things so that you'll be able to have good health?
Thank you very much, sir. So for me, out of just curiosity,
okay,
and I'm sure most other people too on the call are wondering, how did you stumble upon natural medicine?
Oh,
Yeah, because we read from your bio that maybe you have a bachelor's in sociology and then you had to move on to medical sociology. So we're just interested in knowing why the switch, how did the switch come about?
Okay, education itself is not an end on its own. You can tune your education to whatever you love to do. Though in my family line, like from my father's side, my father, was interested in herbal. Even though a very good Christian, not back home we talk of the babalawos, that is only those people who are into this and that they are babalawos. No, but I care about this. I gained some of these things from my parents, and then not only that, as an educated fellow, I read a lot. I'm developing myself every day. Even ever since I came here for almost 2 months now, I have bought some books that will be useful for me at home too. So I develop myself when in my office at home. And I want to tell you, let me use this opportunity to tell you that back home, I have treated people in various ailments when even hospital have failed. When hospital have even failed, let me give you for instance, when you are having hepatitis, I will tell you that when you take my dose, you praise God. I'm just giving an example. Even tuberculosis, even serious cough. I'm giving an example. And I have addressed situations where there are so many doctors on ground, associations, or maybe religious body. We have a lot of medical personnel around. And I mentioned to them that the way I would treat person with diabetes, and I will give them within 2 weeks, and I will tell them some of the future of what they will see. Then another thing is that to just tell you to back what I'm saying, that when you have a stroke patient, by the grace of God, those things we give that I produce and I give them. Then with my system of my charge that is not common in the hospital, I have high success rates too. So I'm developing myself every day in respect of the area of my specialization. I'm not limited to herbs alone. I produce foods. Back home, I produce and I have honey. I'm selling honey in large quantity with NAFDAC number back home. And my locust beans, for instance, is also NAFDAC. I'm also, some of my products, by the grace of God, I'm working on them to be NAFDAC because, I have so many clients back home. And I treat those agent parents in terms of my charge and all they need.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Another thing that was piqued my interest when you spoke was when people talk about herbal medicine or natural medicine or herbal medicine, the first thing as Nigerians, the first thing that comes to mind is agbo.
Okay.
So my mind, I'm just thinking, is it the same thing, or is there a difference between the agbo and what you're telling us today about?
Herbal medicine is not limited to agbo.
Mm-hmm.
We have them in various forms.
Okay.
We have the agbos made. We have powder made. Then we have syrup made of assorted one. It's not limited to agbo. It's not limited to agbo. We have it in various kinds, in fruits, in seeds. Eh? It's not
All right.
limited.
Thank you for that clarification.
Mm.
I also noticed you talked a lot about obesity, and
Yeah.
you spent a lot of time talking about obesity, and of course it's one of the
What's
rising.
the problem?
Yeah, it's very common in our society today. And we also know that as people grow, and then one of the ways you said we can deal with it is to lose weight.
Yes.
Yeah, to lose weight. And we find that as we grow older, losing weight is really a challenge. Sometimes even when we do the regular exercise, we try to make not eat dinner late and all of that. It's a big challenge. Are there is there anything you want to say to some of us on the call about
Okay.
how we can lose weight?
Okay. To be specific.
Yeah, and then in this part of the world, one of the things you also said was we should eat more fruits and nuts and all of that. In this part of the world, we're taught to read labels. So even when you buy a packet of groundnuts, you look at the label, they'll say, this packet, small packet like this, they'll say it contains 400 and something calories per pack. And you eat that one. And then an adult requires about 1,200, 1,500 calories per day if you're not doing something, if you're not a laborer that is doing, very heavy work. And then you just want to snack on a small pack of groundnuts, and that is already more than half of almost a quarter of your, calorific requirements for a day, and it's not filling. But you're here also telling us that. So in this part of the world, we have been taught to read labels. So we actually look out for things that they say is high calorie. We say, okay, if we're trying to reduce weight, we don't want this one because it will increase our calorific content. But you are telling us that if we want to lose weight, we should go for fruits, we should go for vegetables, we should go for nuts. So can you just
Okay, like I said, it's not good to be obese. And then we can control our size, our obesity by what we take. And I'll give you example. But before I give you example, I've tried to control some people's obesity by introducing what they eat. Whatever you eat in the morning, maybe you take whatever you eat in the morning and the afternoon. That can be all right for you. And at night, I recommend that you take fruits or vegetables. When you take this thing, it helps you a lot. And then you take it in moderation. And when you take it even regularly for a whole month, you see that you are coming down gradually. It's not a sudden coming down. You even like yourself, when you only limited yourself to fruit and vegetable at night, you take them into moderation. If I may give example, I won't be specific about the place in Nigeria, but something that had happened. I went to treat some people, and when I got to that office, I was sent a commissioner sent me back home to his family in that city. When I saw the wife was very, very, very huge and tall. And by the time I took the test, I did the all body analysis. And despite the fact of her being fat and everything, the cardio system was very all right. The cerebral system was very all right. The kidney was working fine. The sugar level was all right. Everything, the kidney was working fine, and every of our system was working fine. But when I saw this particular lady, I thought, oh, there'll be a serious problem. So, but thereafter, I now share my experience with the woman that what is the cause of your being in, even the cholesterol level was all right, and she was fat. Then she said she control her health, her diet, and that she does a lot of exercise. So when you control your diet, like you mentioned that when you take certain quantity of granite, you take certain quantity of this, and they are all in control. There's no way you won't control. You can be fat and not having high cholesterol in you. And you can at the same time, at times, you may not be very fat and your cholesterol level may be very, very high. So, but when you do a lot of exercise and you monitor what you eat and you control your eating habits, then you'll be able to monitor your life and you'll be in good health.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that somebody else has asked a question. And if you have any question, please do. Well, if you don't want to unmute yourself and ask your questions, you can also send them to the chat, and then I'll read it out for Mr. Femi. So someone else has asked. It says you said we should have lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. One other problem we have in this part of the world is that there are more fruits and vegetables that are not organic than they are organic ones. Most of the ones you find in the store, right? So he's saying, what do we do about those vegetables and fruits that are pesticide ridden?
I may not be able to have control over them because since I came, I saw a lot of them, and it may be difficult for me around here to be able to control the type of food that probably you eat. But when you are able to manage and control, probably you are able to have the source of your fruits and vegetable, then you will know that it's good for you. But let me reverse back home. Back home, I suggest that if you want to buy vegetable, for instance, you will be able to differentiate those vegetables like spinach, those that are grown with fertilizers, for instance, or that is organic, and those that is not organic. So you'll be able to realize that these are those that are non-organic. You'll be able to differentiate them. You see, some of them, you see the leaves very big, very beautiful. You know that all those ones are problematic. But you see the ones that are stunted, that are not grown with anything like organic something, then you know that this is good for your system. So back home, you are able to control, but here, I do not know how we'll be able to control that, except maybe you are close to the farmer that plant those things, but I doubt if we can control that here.
So Jay, I also wanted to add that if you don't find organic options in the store, most stores carry them. Like I know the Zest brand would always carry them, but even if you can't get them in the stores, now that during this season, you can pick them up at the farmers market. We have one at St. Jacob's for those between in the Waterloo region, be in the Waterloo area, sorry. They also have one at the Kitchener's market. So sometimes you get organic, most times you get organic, especially now that the weather is good, you get organic produce in the farmers market. But in any case, I think if if you can't even get organic, I think you're still better off with fruits and vegetables versus just eating maybe all the other things, fried foods and all of that. If there's any other person who has any questions, Mr. Femi is willing to answer them. So, sir, is there any home remedies you would have for some of us? Like maybe you've heard all that you have said, any home remedies you have to maybe leave us with to say, oh, if you
Okay.
have this problem, I know you made mention of granite.
Mm-hmm.
My mother has arthritis, so even I was keen when you said talking about that. The granite exercise where you said she can step on granite and to help.
Okay.
I've made a mental note about that. Is there any other thing else you want to tell us as a group? Home remedies?
Okay, to prevent something like cancer, for instance,
Mm,
if you get charcoal around you, or you can order from, but to be able to carry anything powder, they will show that they will not disturb you in the airport, but you can get treated charcoal here, activated charcoal.
mm,
You can be taking it once or twice a week. It prevents a lot of problem.
mm,
It boosts your immune system. It's anti-cancer, anti-diabetes, anti-high blood pressure. Activated charcoal is activated charcoal is very, very, if you can get it.
mm,
That is good for us. Even taking pineapple juice, hot, take it very hot in the morning. Take it regularly, it prevents cancer, like I said.
mm.
Then even when you take lime, but don't overtake lime. Don't overtake lime, because when if you are still in production, you are still in childbearing, lime may not be very, very good.
For
Mm.
both male and female.
For both male and female. But it's only when you have passed that stage, you can take lime. But even when you take lime, don't overtake it because of your dental formula, so that it not reduce your gum.
Okay.
As then there's depend on whatever this thing, like I said, when we finish, I give you my phone number so that you can, and then you can email me, and you can call me on WhatsApp at home, that I can advise you on depend on whatever email that you want to treat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know. Most people here, we also talk about, some people think drinking lime in water is good for even reducing obesity.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
When you take lime with this thing, with warm water, especially when you wake up in the morning, you take, but don't, like I said, you don't overtake it. Let me also tell you that when you even take ordinary water,
Mm,
you are good at waking up in the morning, you take ordinary warm water. It's very, very good for the system. It will help your bowel, it will help you, everything about you.
mm.
Then it will even help arthritis, because it uh it will help your elbow.
It will lubricate the joints.
Look, all the joints,
Mm,
even the brain will enjoy it. Your
mm,
sight, your breathing system, your blood circulation is
mm.
it's something that we underestimate.
Okay, someone is asking that with that lime, does lime affect the people who have ulcer? And
Yes,
then lime and lemon, is there a difference? Like
yes.
what you do
Eh,
with lime, is it what you can do with lemon?
No, no, no. Lime is more powerful than lemon.
Effective. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Those who have ulcer, they cannot take lime.
Mm.
Even lemon is sweet lemon. If they can get sweet lemon, and then you take it into moderation for those who have ulcer.
Ulcer.
Yes, who have ulcer. Yes.
Okay.
Mm. And
Okay.
those who have ulcer too, they should avoid fried foods. It's not good for them.
Okay. So much information, so much knowledge that has been shared. I want to thank you very much, sir, for reaching out or for speaking to us at this session. Somebody has asked for if she can. Are you open to consultations so I can reach out? Yes, he's open to consultations, and for further inquiries, his number is on the screen. If you need to reach out to him, you can. He's actually in Canada for the holidays. He's going back to Nigeria. I think some of us, if we even have maybe relations back at home, we want him to also, reach out to them. He's available. We thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, Mr. Femi. Thank you everyone for joining in. Since there are no more questions, I think that we have all, gained from this. People are saying thank you in the chat box. So, Mr. Femi, we want to just say thank you for your insights, for the information you have shared. I know some members of our community will be reaching you for more consultations as they have said. We just want to thank you. And thank you everyone for also joining in. I hope you were able to glean something from what he said, and I hope it was beneficial. I personally benefited something, so thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, Sheyi. I know you are at the background doing a lot of things. Thank you, Bayo. Thank you so much for giving us daddy. I know you could have been doing something else, but you're able to give him to us for this time period. So we appreciate you. And with that, we want to call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I know notice the people from Nigeria have dropped off. It's already night at home, so they need to go to bed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jo. We appreciate you for appreciating us. So everyone, thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Till next month again, when we come up with something else. Please stay tuned to the Health and Wellness channel. Thank you. And good night. So Danny, thank you very much, sir.
Oh, Kemi.
Yeah, Ivy.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you for inviting me.
No problem, sir. Thank God.
May God continue to be with you.
Yes, I don't know. Shay, who is it I've been speaking with? I don't know.
You've been speaking with Femi. Femi.
Okay, is your husband, right?
Yes, yes.
No.
Yes. Not they share the same name.
We share the same name.
Oh, okay.
That was
Okay.
you somebody. Last name is different.
Okay. So thank you so much. I'll reach out to him and we'll finish the talk.
I appreciate you so much.
No problem, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. All right. Good night, everyone.
Nice.
Let me stop the recording.